Ever felt that strange disconnect when someone's words don't match their energy? You know, those people who smile wide but make you feel off. This might just be your inner Stoic radar picking up signs of inauthenticity. Recognizing these signs can save you from draining relationships and help you focus on what truly matters. Stoic wisdom tells us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Craving approval often leads people to wear masks, hiding their real intentions and motives. In this video, we'll dig deep into how to spot those hidden agendas and stay grounded in who you are. Because let's face it, life's too short to play mind games or pretend. By learning these telltale signs and how to stay unaffected, you'll build resilience and protect your energy. If you're ready to live life authentically, hit subscribe, give this video a like, and join our journey into Stoic insights. Let's get started. Recognize flattery as a red flag. Flattery can be an insidious mask for fake intentions. In Stoic terms, excessive compliments or over-the-top praise are often given with ulterior motives, aiming to make you feel indebted, obligated, or manipulated. Think of it this way: genuine admiration flows naturally, with no agenda, but flattery is different. It's the sugar-laced trap that people set when they want something from you. Power, approval, maybe even influence. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. People with true intentions don't need to butter you up because they value honesty over manipulation. One of the clearest signs that someone may be disingenuous is if they constantly flatter you, especially in situations where it seems exaggerated or unnecessary. A compliment here and there is, of course, normal and even healthy. But when someone consistently praises you in ways that feel too good to be true, take a step back and ask yourself, why? Often, people who pour on the charm are looking to gain some form of leverage. They understand that by boosting your ego, they can lower your defenses, making you more receptive to their requests. It's the classic bait-and-switch tactic. First, they hook you with compliments, then reel you in with a favor or agenda. From a Stoic perspective, the goal is to remain unaffected by both praise and criticism. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that flattery, like harsh criticism, is simply another person's opinion, and letting it affect you means giving someone else power over your mind. The Stoic approach is to accept genuine compliments gracefully while staying rooted in who you are, unaffected by the highs of praise or the lows of criticism. This way, you won't feel the urge to adjust your behavior to keep the compliments coming, nor will you feel hurt or influenced if the compliments suddenly stop. Here's a practical exercise to try. Next time someone showers you with compliments, especially if it feels like too much, respond with modesty. Instead of getting swept away, reply with something like, "Thank you, I appreciate that, but it's just part of who I am." This can subtly communicate that you aren't dependent on others' approval and that you remain true to yourself, regardless of what others say. In time, you'll notice that people with genuine intentions will respect your humility, while those with ulterior motives may gradually drift away when they realize their praise doesn't have the desired effect. By recognizing flattery as a potential red flag, you safeguard yourself against manipulation and build a stronger sense of self. Instead of relying on the validation of others, you'll cultivate inner strength, knowing that your worth isn't dependent on how others view you. Flattery loses its grip when you no longer crave the approval it offers. And when that happens, you can walk through life with clarity and confidence, able to recognize and navigate the world of relationships with authenticity and poise. In a world where everyone's vying for attention and approval, sticking to your Stoic roots and valuing honest, straightforward relationships is a refreshing change. So, the next time someone flatters you excessively, take it with a grain of salt, ground yourself in self-awareness, and remember Epictetus's words. Don't be swayed by every compliment. Observe inconsistent actions and words. In Stoic philosophy, actions reveal the truth far more than words ever could. People with insincere intentions often say one thing but do another, betraying themselves through contradictions. The Stoics emphasized that integrity is built not on promises or words, but on consistent action. As Marcus Aurelius put it, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. When someone's words and actions don't align, it's a sign they may be hiding something, or at the very least, that they aren't living up to their expressed values. Inconsistent behavior can show up in various forms. One example is someone who promises to support you or be there for you, but rarely follows through. They might say, "I'll help you out any time," but when the time comes, they always have an excuse. Or perhaps someone frequently speaks about loyalty and honesty, but is quick to gossip or bend the truth when it's convenient for them. These inconsistencies are red flags, suggesting they may not be as genuine as they appear. While everyone has off days, a pattern of mismatched words and actions is worth noticing. The Stoic approach here is to stay grounded in observation rather than letting emotions cloud your judgment. Instead of rushing to label the person as fake or feeling betrayed, simply observe without attachment. Notice if their actions continually fall short of their promises, and remind yourself that genuine relationships are built on trust and reliability. By remaining neutral in your assessment, you avoid unnecessary disappointment and frustration, preserving your peace of mind. The Stoic perspective teaches us not to expect perfection, but to seek people who demonstrate reliability and integrity over time. Another useful practice here is reflection. When someone's actions and words don't match, take a moment to ask yourself why their behavior feels unsettling. Sometimes we may ignore these inconsistencies because we value the person or want to see them in a positive light. But the Stoics remind us that it's important to see people as they are, not as we wish them to be. Reflecting honestly allows us to make wise decisions about whom we let into our lives and whom we keep at a distance. If someone is not trustworthy, distancing yourself can free up your time and energy for relationships that are more aligned with your values. To apply this lesson practically, try not to react immediately when someone's words don't match their actions. Instead, give it time. Observe if it happens regularly or if it's an isolated incident. If it's a consistent pattern, consider adjusting your expectations and interactions with them. For example, if a friend keeps canceling plans after promising to meet, lower your expectations and don't rely heavily on them. This way, you maintain your peace without allowing their inconsistency to disrupt your life. By recognizing inconsistencies and responding mindfully, you strengthen your inner resilience. Rather than letting others' unreliable behavior disturb you, you remain steady, prioritizing relationships that nurture mutual respect and authenticity. The Stoics believed that the only behavior we can control is our own. Thus, when faced with inconsistency in others, we learn to adjust our expectations, value actions over words, and keep our peace of mind intact. In this way, you stay true to yourself, building a life filled with people who align with your values and respect the power of consistent action. Notice if they only reach out when they need something. One of the most telling signs of a disingenuous relationship is when someone only appears in your life when they need a favor. To the Stoics, relationships should be built on mutual respect and support, not transactional convenience. If a person only reaches out to you when they're in need but is rarely around otherwise, they're likely seeing you as a means to an end rather than valuing you for who you are. When someone contacts you only when they need something, it's as if they are viewing you as a tool rather than as a whole person with your own needs and value. This can manifest subtly. They might seem warm, friendly, and attentive right before asking for help, but disappear or become distant once they've achieved their goal. Over time, these interactions start to feel draining. They leave you feeling used or taken for granted. A Stoic approach to handling this situation is to focus on setting boundaries. Rather than jumping in whenever someone asks for help, pause and assess whether this person reciprocates support in your life. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. So if someone continually asks for favors but rarely offers support in return, resist the urge to react with frustration or resentment. For a practical step, try paying attention to how you feel after each interaction with them. If you notice a recurring sense of exhaustion or frustration, it might be a sign that this relationship is one-sided. By reflecting on how their presence impacts you, you can make a conscious choice about how much access you allow them in your life. Setting clear boundaries isn't about punishing anyone. It's about protecting your energy for relationships that nourish and uplift you. By recognizing when someone only reaches out for their own gain, you gain the freedom to protect your energy and prioritize relationships that reflect genuine care and reciprocity. Instead of feeling obligated to accommodate people who only show up when it's convenient for them, you can cultivate friendships with those who value you for who you are. In this way, you can build a circle of relationships rooted in respect and mutual support, just as the Stoics would advise, freeing yourself from the draining cycle of transactional connections. Pay attention to how they react to your success. One of the clearest indicators of someone's true character is how they react to your achievements. True friends and genuinely supportive people will celebrate your successes, big or small, as if they were their own. In contrast, those with fake intentions or hidden envy may respond in subtle ways that reveal their discomfort. Stoicism encourages us to observe people's reactions to both fortune and adversity, as these responses often uncover their true nature. Epictetus once said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. If someone struggles to be happy for you or downplays your success, it may be a sign they're not truly in your corner." Envy and insincerity often hide behind backhanded compliments, dismissive remarks, or a lukewarm congratulations that feels more like an obligation than genuine happiness. They might say things like, "Wow, must be nice to get lucky like that," or shift the conversation back to themselves. Some may even subtly try to bring you down with passive-aggressive comments or jokes that make you feel small. Stoicism teaches us to detach from these reactions, recognizing them for what they are: projections of others' insecurities. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But this acceptance doesn't mean tolerating toxic energy. Rather, it's about acknowledging people's limitations without letting their negativity cloud your joy. When you observe these reactions in others, it's important not to take them personally. A Stoic approach would be to remain humble and grounded, embracing your success without arrogance and without needing external validation. If someone can't celebrate with you, that's a reflection of their own insecurities or struggles. Stoicism teaches us not to let others' responses dictate our emotions, so instead of feeling hurt or resentful, you can choose to stay focused on your growth. By keeping your joy independent of others' opinions, you cultivate an inner peace that's resilient to external negativity. A practical step to handle this gracefully is to surround yourself with people who genuinely uplift you and distance yourself from those who don't. Sometimes, noticing these negative reactions can be a helpful filter, showing you which relationships are worth investing in and which might be best kept at arm's length. If a person consistently reacts poorly to your achievements, it may be a sign that their support is conditional, based on their comfort rather than a true desire to see you thrive. Another helpful practice is to be openly supportive of others, even if they struggle to return the favor. This doesn't mean tolerating fake behavior, but rather setting an example of genuine encouragement. When you model this behavior, you attract people with similar values and, over time, build a network of relationships based on authentic, mutual respect. If those who can't be happy for you drift away, let them go with Stoic acceptance. As Epictetus would advise, you can't control how others feel, but you can control how you respond. In recognizing how people react to your success, you're ultimately learning to prioritize those who celebrate your journey as much as their own. This lesson empowers you to cultivate relationships rooted in positivity and mutual support, while releasing any attachments to those who can't share in your happiness. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you not only protect your energy, but also create a more fulfilling social circle, one that genuinely nourishes your growth and success. Observe if they respect your boundaries. One of the most telling signs of genuine versus fake people is how they respond to your boundaries. Healthy relationships, whether friendships, family, or work connections, involve mutual respect for each other's limits, needs, and personal space. But when someone ignores or oversteps these boundaries repeatedly, it often signals a lack of respect or self-centered intentions. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Boundaries are not just rules, they are an expression of self-respect, and those who care about you will honor them, not just when it's convenient, but consistently. A person's reaction to your boundaries can reveal a lot about their intentions. For instance, if you express a need for personal space or ask not to discuss a certain topic, a respectful individual will understand and comply without question. In contrast, someone with a lack of regard for you may brush off these requests, guilt-trip you, or manipulate you into feeling bad for asserting your needs. Fake people may view boundaries as obstacles to getting what they want, rather than as important expressions of your well-being. This behavior can manifest as subtle resistance, like frequent jokes about how you're too sensitive or direct disregard, like pushing you to do something you're uncomfortable with. Stoicism teaches us that our peace of mind depends on cultivating environments that respect our inner harmony, and allowing others to trample our boundaries disrupts this harmony. Practicing Stoic detachment can help us navigate boundary issues without being reactive. If someone continuously ignores your boundaries, rather than reacting with frustration or anger, the Stoic approach encourages us to calmly restate our limits, or if needed, distance ourselves. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Instead of wasting energy trying to change someone's behavior, focus on maintaining your own boundaries, recognizing that respecting your limits is ultimately up to you. A practical way to reinforce your boundaries is to communicate them clearly and assertively. For example, if a friend constantly calls at inconvenient times, politely let them know you're unavailable during those hours and suggest a better time. If they respect this, it's a sign of genuine care for your needs. But if they continue disregarding your request, take note. It's a signal they may value their own convenience over your comfort. Over time, consistently maintaining your boundaries will reveal who respects you for who you are and who only sees you in terms of what they can gain. Another Stoic tool is self-reflection. If someone repeatedly violates your boundaries, ask yourself why you continue to allow it. Sometimes we tolerate such behavior because we fear conflict or rejection. But Stoicism teaches that peace comes from within, not from pleasing others at our own expense. Reflect on whether these relationships are truly enriching your life, or whether they're draining your energy and disrupting your inner peace. The Stoic idea of letting go can be applied here. If someone doesn't respect your boundaries, let go of the attachment to their approval and prioritize your own mental and emotional well-being. Ultimately, setting and maintaining boundaries is a way to protect your sense of self. By respecting your own limits, you signal to others that you value yourself, and this encourages them to do the same. In this way, you cultivate relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding, as Stoicism advocates. By learning to observe how people respond to your boundaries, you gain valuable insight into their authenticity and intentions, making it easier to surround yourself with people who genuinely support your journey. Notice if they only support you. When you're struggling, one subtle but telling sign of inauthenticity in relationships is when someone seems supportive only when you're down, but withdraws or becomes indifferent when things are going well for you. Stoicism, with its emphasis on equanimity and balanced relationships, encourages us to look closely at the nature of our connections. Genuine support means standing by someone in both good times and bad, without letting envy, ego, or self-interest get in the way. As Seneca reminds us, a friend is someone who assists in difficult times, but also finds joy in your successes. Sometimes, people find it easier to sympathize with someone in difficult times because it allows them to feel needed or important, or even superior in some way. However, when life turns around and you start achieving your goals or finding success, the same people may become distant, dismissive, or even resentful. When you observe that someone's support is inconsistent, it's important to reflect on how this affects your well-being and whether the relationship genuinely serves you. Stoicism advises us to keep a close circle of people who uplift and inspire us rather than drain us or make us feel small. A true friend celebrates your growth and is just as enthusiastic about your wins as they are compassionate during your challenges. To put this lesson into practice, try paying attention to how people respond to different situations in your life. If someone's enthusiasm wanes when you're thriving but flares up when you're in need, recognize this as a pattern rather than an isolated behavior. You don't have to confront them or try to change them. Instead, consider this an opportunity to adjust the way you engage with them. Maybe they are better suited as an acquaintance rather than a close confidant, allowing you to reserve your energy and trust for those who bring consistency and genuine support into your life. Ultimately, being mindful of who is there in both your highs and lows enables you to cultivate relationships based on real connection, not conditional support. By embracing this lesson, you build resilience, surrounding yourself with people who genuinely celebrate your progress and growth. With this approach, you'll find yourself uplifted by friendships rooted in authenticity and mutual respect, embodying the Stoic ideals of self-respect and inner peace. Evaluate how they react to honest feedback. A true test of someone's character and their sincerity in your life is how they respond to honest, constructive feedback. People who are genuinely invested in a healthy relationship with you will appreciate honest feedback, even if it's not what they want to hear. They'll listen, reflect, and often thank you for your perspective. In contrast, insincere people may react defensively, dismissively, or even lash out, viewing feedback as a threat rather than a chance for growth. Feedback can often be a mirror, reflecting aspects of ourselves that we may need to improve or reconsider. But for some people, particularly those who are insecure or who mask insincerity with charm, this reflection can be uncomfortable, leading them to reject or deflect the insights that feedback offers. Instead of seeing your perspective as a helpful contribution, they may interpret it as criticism, becoming overly defensive or even retaliating with negative feedback toward you. If you notice that someone consistently reacts poorly to feedback, it may signal that they aren't as open or authentic as they appear. In healthy relationships, honest feedback should flow both ways, helping each person grow in character and perspective. The Stoic approach is to offer feedback with kindness, focusing on constructive input rather than criticism. If they resist this or try to twist the narrative, it's often because they are unwilling to examine themselves honestly. One practical way to handle this dynamic is to observe without attachment. Offer feedback when it's appropriate, but if the person becomes defensive or refuses to listen, take this as information about their capacity for self-improvement and authenticity. Rather than becoming frustrated or trying harder to convince them, step back and reflect on how this behavior affects your relationship. Additionally, be mindful of your intentions when offering feedback. However, if you're consistently met with defensiveness or rejection, consider whether this relationship is serving your growth or if it's better to limit your emotional investment. Ultimately, evaluating how people respond to honest feedback can help you discern which relationships are built on authenticity and a shared commitment to self-betterment. By valuing those who are open to reflection and growth, you can cultivate a circle of relationships grounded in trust, understanding, and mutual respect, principles that lie at the heart of Stoic philosophy. This lesson reminds us that true friends encourage each other's growth, embracing both praise and correction in the spirit of becoming better individuals. Watch for how they handle disagreements. A revealing sign of someone's authenticity is how they manage disagreements. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but how it's handled speaks volumes about a person's character. In genuine, supportive relationships, disagreements are opportunities for growth, understanding, and even strengthening bonds. True friends or partners approach disagreements with a willingness to listen, empathy, and respect for differing perspectives. They don't resort to insults, stonewalling, or manipulation to win an argument. Instead, they value the relationship over being right. Stoicism teaches us to remain calm and rational during conflicts, a principle that can reveal whether those around us share a similar respect for harmony. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This humility can diffuse tension and allow space for open, honest discussion. A person's reaction to conflict can reveal underlying intentions or insecurities. For instance, insincere people may refuse to engage in a productive discussion, shifting blame or attacking your character instead of addressing the issue. They might hold grudges or bring up past mistakes to undermine you, using the disagreement as a way to assert dominance or control rather than to reach mutual understanding. Stoic philosophy values the pursuit of truth and harmony over winning a debate, emphasizing that we should never let our emotions take control in conflict. If someone is unwilling to discuss disagreements calmly, or worse, becomes vindictive or resentful, it's a sign they may not have your best interests at heart. Stoicism teaches that by observing others' responses to conflict, we learn who truly respects us and who doesn't. Those who handle disagreements with patience and open-mindedness are likely to value you for who you are, rather than for the validation or comfort you provide them. In contrast, people who react aggressively or dismissively are often more concerned with preserving their ego or image. When you engage with someone who values conflict resolution, you'll notice a sense of security and mutual respect. Such people are willing to compromise and understand, rather than allowing a disagreement to become a wedge. They aren't threatened by different opinions, but are instead willing to hear you out, even if they ultimately disagree. To put this into practice, observe your own role in disagreements. Stoicism encourages us to stay calm and rational, focusing on the issue rather than letting emotions take over. Approach conflicts with curiosity and humility, and if the other person reciprocates, it's a good indicator of a solid relationship. However, if they react negatively, consider taking a step back. Instead of trying to change their mind or win the argument, recognize that their reaction reflects their emotional maturity. Allow them space and remain composed, which can often shift the dynamic toward a more productive dialogue. Remember, disagreements handled respectfully can strengthen bonds, while those steeped in negativity and disrespect reveal weak foundations. If someone cannot engage in a healthy exchange of perspectives, it may be best to reconsider the closeness of the relationship. Stoicism encourages us to surround ourselves with people who contribute to our peace and growth, even in times of conflict. Those who are capable of respectful disagreements demonstrate that they value you as an equal, and these are the relationships worth investing in. This lesson allows you to cultivate friendships and connections rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and a shared commitment to growth. Principles that align with the Stoic ideal of harmonious, supportive relationships. Notice if they're consistent in all settings. One of the most reliable ways to gauge someone's authenticity is to observe whether they remain consistent across different settings and with different people. Genuine individuals are the same person in every situation, treating everyone, from friends to strangers, with respect and integrity. In contrast, insincere people often shift their behavior depending on who they're with or what they hope to gain. This inconsistency can be a red flag, signaling that they are more concerned with appearances or personal gain than with being truthful and steady. Stoicism teaches the importance of living a life of integrity and authenticity, regardless of circumstances. As Seneca said, a good character is the only guarantee of everlasting carefree happiness. In other words, a person's true character doesn't fluctuate based on convenience or opportunity. People who act differently depending on the setting are often focused on impression management, seeking approval or influence rather than cultivating genuine relationships. For instance, someone may be warm and friendly with you one-on-one, but cold or dismissive when others are around, especially if there's something to be gained from distancing themselves. This inconsistent behavior can create confusion and mistrust, making it difficult to know who they truly are. Stoic wisdom encourages us to prioritize friendships with people who show consistent values, regardless of social context. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to remain the same in all situations, emphasizing that one's character should be rooted, not shaped by changing environments. A person who treats others with respect and kindness consistently reflects inner integrity, while those who alter themselves to suit each audience are often driven by self-interest. A practical way to evaluate consistency is to observe how someone behaves with people who have nothing to offer them. How do they treat a waiter, a stranger, or a colleague who is of no benefit to them? People who show kindness, patience, and respect across the board tend to be genuinely compassionate, while those who only act this way when it's advantageous reveal an underlying selfishness. By paying attention to these patterns, you gain insight into their true nature. If you notice that someone's behavior seems contingent on who's watching or what they stand to gain, it might be wise to rethink their role in your life. Stoicism advises us to stay grounded in our values regardless of external conditions, and the same is true when choosing who to trust. A Stoic would observe inconsistencies in others' behavior without judgment, but would also be cautious, understanding that such fluctuations may indicate unreliability. Rather than confronting or trying to change them, the Stoic response would be to adjust expectations, allowing you to stay peaceful without depending on their approval or validation. By observing objectively and refraining from making excuses for them, you protect your peace of mind. Ultimately, consistency in character is one of the cornerstones of trustworthy relationships. People who are authentic will show the same respect, compassion, and humility across all areas of life, while those who are insincere will struggle to maintain this integrity. By aligning with individuals who remain steady regardless of circumstances, you build a network of support that's rooted in mutual respect and authenticity. This lesson reminds us that our peace is best preserved when we surround ourselves with people who are as reliable as they are genuine, a principle central to Stoic philosophy. Through this clarity, you can create relationships that stand the test of time, unshaken by the changing dynamics of life. See if they celebrate your growth and self-improvement. One of the truest indicators of a friend's authenticity is whether they genuinely celebrate your growth and self-improvement, even when it means you're moving beyond the status quo. Real friends or partners want to see you flourish and evolve, and they'll encourage you as you pursue new interests, take on challenges, or make positive changes in your life. However, people with insincere intentions might feel threatened or envious when they see you growing, especially if your growth highlights areas where they feel stagnant. Stoicism teaches us to hold steady in our values and path, unaffected by the judgment or opinions of others. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Your journey of self-improvement should not be dictated by others' insecurities, but by your own commitment to growth and virtue. If you notice resistance or negativity when you share your achievements or new aspirations, take this as a potential sign of insincerity. True friends don't see your growth as a threat. Rather, they are inspired by it and eager to see where it leads you. They encourage you to strive, adapt, and push beyond previous limits. Instead of holding back out of fear of leaving others behind, remember that the Stoic path values resilience and inner strength. You're not responsible for managing others' reactions to your success or adapting to fit their comfort zone. The right people will match your energy and celebrate your progress, while those who struggle with it may not be the best influences in your life. In the end, relationships should be nurturing spaces that encourage each person's development. People who genuinely care will celebrate your journey, even if it leads you to places they haven't been. They'll push you to be the best version of yourself and derive joy from seeing you grow. When you embrace those who honor your progress and release those who feel threatened by it, you create a support network that aligns with Stoic ideals of resilience, self-reliance, and authentic connection. In doing so, you safeguard your path to self-improvement, surrounding yourself with people who appreciate and encourage your journey toward becoming the person you aspire to be. Assess whether they value your time and energy. In any relationship, one of the most telling indicators of sincerity is how someone treats your time and energy. Time is an invaluable resource, and Stoicism reminds us to protect it. For once it's spent, it's gone forever. People who genuinely care about you will show respect for your time by being reliable, considerate, and present, without constantly expecting you to drop everything for them. In contrast, insincere individuals may treat your time as disposable, expecting you to always be available for their needs, whims, or convenience, regardless of your own priorities. As Seneca wisely said, people are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy. Those who value you will honor your time and be mindful of not taking advantage of it. A person who doesn't respect your time might frequently cancel plans last minute, show up late, or expect you to make sacrifices without offering the same in return. They may constantly seek your help or emotional support, but fail to reciprocate when you need it. This one-sided dynamic can leave you feeling drained and unappreciated, as if your time and energy are less important than theirs. Stoicism teaches that while we should be kind and compassionate, we must also be discerning about where we direct our energy. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This also applies to commitments. Don't give your time freely to those who don't appreciate it. Being mindful of who respects your time can help you reserve it for people and pursuits that truly matter. Practically, this means setting clear boundaries and observing how people react to them. If you start saying no to unreasonable demands and someone becomes upset or dismissive, it's a sign they may not have valued your time in the first place. A person who genuinely cares for you will understand and respect your limits, while someone who is insincere may try to guilt-trip or pressure you into constantly being available for their needs. Stoic philosophy encourages us to recognize our own worth and act with dignity. Just as we would be mindful of how we spend our money, we should be deliberate with how we spend our time, surrounding ourselves with people who respect it as much as we do. One way to test this is by occasionally prioritizing your own needs and observing who respects your decision and who resists. True friends and authentic relationships will appreciate your honesty and encourage you to focus on your well-being, while those with self-centered intentions may react negatively, seeing your time as something they have a right to claim. This boundary setting not only preserves your energy, but also reveals the quality of your connections, allowing you to prioritize people who truly support you. Ultimately, valuing your time and energy is essential for a balanced, fulfilling life. Stoicism reminds us that genuine relationships should be reciprocal, built on mutual respect for each other's time and efforts. By recognizing who values your time, you ensure that your energy is invested in people who uplift you, fostering connections that align with the Stoic ideals of respect, integrity, and intentional living. In doing so, you create a life that honors your own worth and attracts others who do the same, building a support network that contributes to your growth and peace of mind. Reflect on whether they inspire you to be a better person. One of the most powerful indicators of a meaningful relationship is whether someone encourages and inspires you to grow. People with sincere intentions naturally uplift you, making you feel empowered and motivated to pursue your highest potential. They don't need to push you or manipulate you into becoming someone you're not. Rather, their example, support, and encouragement ignite a desire in you to strive for self-improvement. Stoicism holds that we should aim to keep company with people who elevate us. As Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. True friends or partners inspire us not only by cheering us on, but also by challenging us to reflect on our actions and guiding us towards becoming the best version of ourselves. In contrast, relationships that are shallow or insincere often have the opposite effect. Fake or self-interested individuals may subtly discourage your progress, whether out of envy, insecurity, or simply because they are comfortable with the status quo. These people may question your ambitions, belittle your goals, or express indifference when you share new ideas or dreams. Instead of inspiring you, They may leave you feeling drained, doubting your capabilities, or hesitant to make positive changes in your life. A true connection should fuel your drive to improve, not by making you feel inadequate, but by fostering a supportive environment that celebrates growth. Stoic wisdom teaches us to embrace friendships that serve as a mirror to our best qualities, allowing us to grow with humility and purpose. To discern whether a person truly inspires you, consider how you feel after spending time with them. Do you feel motivated, centered, and ready to take on challenges? Or do you leave their company feeling stuck, discouraged, or stagnant? A genuine relationship nourishes your strengths and values, aligning with the Stoic principles of resilience, courage, and integrity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you surround yourself with people who embody positivity, integrity, and ambition, their qualities naturally influence and elevate your own outlook, leading you toward a richer, more purposeful life. A practical way to apply this lesson is to seek out individuals who embody qualities you admire and wish to cultivate. Look for friends who exhibit kindness, patience, curiosity, and a genuine commitment to their own growth. By choosing people who inspire you, you create a network that not only supports you, but actively contributes to your personal development. These relationships provide a solid foundation for pursuing goals, navigating challenges, and staying true to your principles. When difficulties arise, a supportive friend will remind you of your strengths, helping you stay grounded in your values and capable of facing adversity with grace. Ultimately, relationships should serve as mutual sources of encouragement and improvement rather than obligations or distractions. By surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, you create an environment that supports the Stoic goal of lifelong self-improvement and inner peace. Such relationships become partnerships in growth, where each person is enriched by the presence of the other. Embracing this lesson leads to a life filled with purpose and fulfillment, as you connect with people who not only accept you as you are, but also inspire you to reach new heights. This Stoic principle guides us toward relationships that resonate with our truest selves, empowering us to continue our journey with resilience and integrity. As we journey through life, the people we surround ourselves with can make all the difference. Recognizing who truly adds value, supports our growth, and respects our boundaries is a skill rooted in wisdom and self-respect, qualities that Stoicism champions. Imagine a life filled only with relationships that uplift, inspire, and challenge you to be your best. This isn't just a Stoic ideal, it's an approach to living with integrity and resilience, one that makes each interaction meaningful and each connection a reflection of your values. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What signs do you look for when deciding if someone is genuine? Do any of these lessons resonate? Drop your insights in the comments. I'm curious to see what you think. And if you're ready to build stronger, more fulfilling relationships rooted in these principles, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and join our community. Together, we'll continue to explore Stoic wisdom and life-changing perspectives that empower us to live with clarity, intention, and strength.